Stonewall. Just the name carries meaning. A quiet park in Manhattan's Greenwich Village, but more than a park, a symbol. It's where, in June 1969, patrons of a small bar rose up against police harassment. That uprising became the spark of the modern LGBTQ+ rights movement in the United States and around the world. In 2016, the Obama administration recognized that history by designating the site, including a flagpole in Christopher Park, as the Stonewall National Monument. For many, that flagpole flying a rainbow pride flag wasn't just decoration, it was a living symbol, a reminder of struggle, progress, identity, and community. But, in February 2026, that symbol was removed. The Trump administration, through the National Park Service, quietly took down the rainbow pride flag that had flown over the monument. Officials said they were simply enforcing federal guidance, a policy that limits flags on National Park Service flagpoles to the U.S. flag, Department of Interior flags, and a small set of officially authorized banners. But few saw it that way. To critics, this wasn't procedural housekeeping, it was erased, an attack on visibility and memory. New York City officials, including Mayor Zohran Mamdani, called the removal an attempt to silence history. Lawmakers from both local and federal levels, including Senator Chuck Schumer, demanded that the pride flag be returned, framing the removal as a denial of the site's meaning. LGBTQ+ advocates called it a deliberate act of erasure, arguing that removing the rainbow flag from the birthplace of their movement was more than aesthetic, it was symbolic of deeper political currents. In recent years, the administration in power has also removed references to transgender people from the monument's official material and restricted flag displays at national parks to only a narrow set of government banners, steps critics see as part of a broader rollback of LGBTQ+ visibility in public spaces. Protests erupted rapidly in Greenwich Village. Hundreds gathered beneath the now empty flagpole, not just to condemn a symbolic act, but to say something bigger. We will not be erased. Some speakers invoked history. Stonewall wasn't just the place where people fought back. It's where the concept of queer pride was born. To many supporters, the removal of that pride flag was not just a federal policy enforcement. It was a challenge to the very idea that LGBTQ+ history deserves permanent, visible commemoration. But critics of the protest have another frame. They say the Park Service was simply applying a neutral rule, one that theoretically applies to all federal sites. The dispute is now about more than one flag. It's about who gets to define history, who gets to decide what symbols are honored in public spaces, and what governments owe to the communities whose struggles shaped them. And as the protests continue and voices rise across political lines, one thing has become clear. For millions who see Stonewall as sacred ground, a flag is never just a flag. It's a symbol of memory, identity, resistance, and the promise that some fights, once won, should never be forgotten.